Hello and welcome everyone to Monday here on lichess and Twitch. International Master Will Paschall. We are doing my Slaggy Twitch stream. That's my handle on Twitch, Slaggy on lichess. I'm Sparkle Horse. We are playing Blitz and Rapid Chess today. Everyone who's a subscriber will be accepted first. Then I'll take challenges from the other players as well. What's up, guys? We had a pretty tough simul last night. Every Sunday I do this Sunday simul, and it was 4 hours. Lots of really difficult games. I was kind of pushed on a defensive, it seems like. I'm going to have to make an effort to really play more active, I think, openings, especially with white, maybe more e4, and just... It seems like I never have an attack. I never seem to have a kingside attack style position, like especially when I'm playing white. I should get more attacking chances with like e4 probably. Anyway, something to think about when I'm playing in the simul. The result wasn't bad. I think I had 4 losses, quite a few draws, and like 12 wins. Alright, welcome everyone. We've got Acerbate here, JCS, Derndash, a regular. Who else is here? I guess that's all. I thought Nefida was here earlier. There he is. He's challenging me, but I don't see him in the chat room. We've got challenges from Morales, Nefida, Tushar, so that's 3 more subscribers over there. Guys, thank you for subscribing. Morales, I looked at the game yesterday, but I made a terrible mistake in the opening. You know, it's really ironic against you, Morales, how I had another Pierce defense type position where I immediately went for knight takes e4, knight takes e4, d5, and then for some reason against you, you actually made a bad mistake. There was an old Ken Regan game where he played like f3, but you played knight e2, and you just let me to play knight takes e4, d5, like equalizing. And it's odd how like in one game I see this tactic and in the next game I don't. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I could have cleanly, you know, equalized that game. Instead, I blundered with e5. Not even paying attention to bishop takes f7 check. Not on my best last night, though. Seems like tactically I wasn't as sharp as I should be. Anyway, guys, we're welcoming challenges between 5+3 and 7+3. I haven't had a lot of time to play, I think, Fast Blitz off stream, and it's been hurting my game a little bit. That I need that exercise to really sharpen the skills. Morales, Nefidov, Tushar, and Ms. Derndash. Sound was okay, but I wasn't sharp. I was just a little bit off tactically, I feel like. We had some interesting positions, though. I will say that. Like, at the end, there were some really funny, crazy endgames and stuff. Clash Kid, as always, had a crazy position. Morales, Nefidov, Tushar, Derndash, stupid names left. Yeah, I had this game against Clash Kid that was the first time I've ever seen the table base, the endgame table base, come on and say, my opponent has a winning position, but it takes more than 50 move rule to do it. It was 2 bishops against knight. It could have been 2 bishops against knight and pawn, where my king is kind of stuck in the corner with the knight and pawn, and he can actually force a win, apparently. They've worked out these, you know, 7-piece table bases or something. So, worth it looking at the end of the stream anyway. I'm going to start with Morales. Okay, guys, we're streaming till 12:30 as usual. Well, Morales, I didn't look at it too deeply. I just kind of blunder checked my games and saw that, you know, there was 2 previous games where like both players played f3 and knight takes e4 was playable. Alright, let's try e5. But I was thinking about this whole concept of that I'm getting like defensive positions a lot, and I should be more aggressive in the opening if possible. Not so easy to do here, though. Once I played the Hungarian defense against Morales, that didn't work out well. Obviously, you didn't hear for what? Woodley toy? Morales' way? Oh. I like how he spells Morales. Kendrys Morales. Like a baseball player. It's phonetic. It works. All right, knight g5 from Miralles. There, there is the French. What is he, Grandmaster? Giles Morales, with the exact same spelling. Any relation? My limited theoretical knowledge here is what hurts me. I was thinking if you play e4, e5, your chances of getting a kingside oriented position where you can attack the opponent's king are higher. I mean, if you see like lots of aggressive players, Mamajarov plays e4, e5, Aronian, a lot of players play e4, e5, playing for kingside space. The Sicilian is like primarily a queenside opening. All right. I'm just thinking, how can I get more positions where I can attack the opponent's king? And you need to have more space near the opponent's king. So e4, e5 actually, I can think of lots of aggressive players who play e4, e5 instead of the Sicilian. Unfortunately, as I said, I don't know enough theory here. Now this should be main line, right? H6, knight f3, e4, knight e5. We had this once with Nefedov. Speaking of Nefedov is here waiting. Tushar next. Derndash, stupid names left. More Wa. Today I'm joining with Alex Fishbein. Your spelling is awesome. What do you mean you're joining with them? You're going to become like Siamese twins? Alright, stupid joke. 95. Well, I'm going to go with the Nefedov variation. I was happy with this, but now I've forgotten all the analysis, of course. Nazbedinov in his collected games credits this to like, I can't remember, maybe was it Geller? Queen c7. But I still looked at this pretty heavily after one game with Nefedov, and it looked good for black. Of course, I can't remember. Are you saying you're going to be Alex Fishbein's like chess student? Fishbein is this player who I first met. Like Feingold. People get them confused. They're like F names that are 8 letters. Around the same age. Okay. I have to give Alex Fishbein my regards. Oddly enough, like, I don't think I ever actually played him in a game. Even though, like, we played in literally dozens of tournaments together. You downloaded the Scotch Gambit. Fishbein wrote that book. Okay, Scotch Gambit is relevant here in our discussion because, you know, knight f6, d4. We will usually play like d takes e4 and castles, and sorry, d takes e4, e takes d4, and e5. That's the Roman system. But I didn't know Fishbein plays that. Fishbein is pretty theoretical. You know, he's retired from playing actively, but he was pretty well versed theoretically. I mean, he plays the King's Indian, e4 with white, energetic, aggressive system, ebook. So f4. Why don't I remember analyzing this now with Nefedov? Nefedov may have played knight g4. Okay, I don't know where we stand here. I mean, obviously, like, bishop c5 looks like normal move. But after rook f1, I'm not sure what black's supposed to do. This must be the million-dollar question. So it's like my game with it's like my game with Serbian Santa Claus yesterday. I know a little bit of theory, but not enough. And then it actually is like the saying, like a little bit of information is very, very dangerous. Yesterday I like lost to Serbian Santa Claus because I didn't know more than like just a couple of moves of the line. Then I get myself in a position where I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and I make some crazy move. In that case, queen a5 check and take the pawn on c5 when I'm not supposed to. Here again, I know a little bit of information, but now I put myself in a complicated position where I don't know, I don't know what the next move is. If I take, you take back with a knight, and my queen has to go, and then it seems like white, has time to complete his development and stuff. Bishop c5 on the other hand, rook f1, and then I don't see a continuation. So I'm confused. I did look at this with the computer, but I forgot. I mean, white has things on the queen side with c3 and b4. Knight d5 looks crazy. Okay, I just admit that I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Bishop c5, I guess. Forced rook f1, forced him to forfeit his right to castle. But I do not recall what happens after this, basically, at all. I remember there was a Becerra game where Julio was white against someone. The queen could even get trapped in some lines here. There's no really good looking move in this position. Knight e5 c3 traps my queen. So my queen seems like it almost has to pull back. Or at least I can't obstruct my queen from moving. Also my knight is in trouble and is a trouble. Plus knight c3. So we have all sorts of problems. Bishop d6 maybe. I'm gonna have to burn my time down to the end because I'm really desperate here. Knight and a5 has to get out. I probably already made a serious mistake. e3 doesn't do anything. I'm just gonna fall apart, I think. This is what you get when you play a theoretical opening you don't know. Just a random position that you need to have memorized. Alright, I don't know. I'm just going to retrieve my bishop for safety reasons here. I have 30 seconds left. We're down a pawn, which is normal in this line, but I don't know. Nefedov, you got me in this with your queen d4. 5 people in the queue here. 6 at the moment. Nefedov, Tushar, Derndatch, Stupid Names, Morwa. Vampire M is not a subscriber, but if we get to all the subscribers, we will accept that challenge. I don't know. Like, what else could I have done? I don't recall what's supposed to be played here. Long ago when I looked at it, I mean, if I take en passant, okay, that seems natural. But then knight takes, and then my queen moves away, and then I'm just down a pawn, it looks like. That's that's the problem there. So maybe this is why. Queen where? Queen d5, dangerous. Queen d8, dangerous. Queen d6, dangerous. It all looks bad. Okay, I'm about to flag, so there's b3 as well. d4 and b3. Also b4. No, this is a total catastrophe for me. Wonder if I should even take that. Okay, maybe we can survive. I don't know. We're basically down a pawn. Really? I trapped my own knight. Man, that is embarrassing. Okay, good game. We learned the hard way here, this variation. Let's see what I'm supposed to do. I don't know the theory. Alright. So takes, bishop e2, h6. Whoops. We can learn this together. So queen d4, f4. It is bishop c5, rook f1. Now I was on my own. This is a very deceptive position, and probably it's just good for white. There's the Becerra game I was talking about. Kriventsov against Becerra from 2006. I mistakenly thought Julio was white. But anyway, like, I think that this variation is just good for white. I don't know, I didn't analyze it deep enough with Nefedov. This seems like a problem. After rook f1, I don't see a solution for black. Okay, queen d8, what did I play? I played bishop b6, which has been played a couple times. It's the second best move. Now I have 34 seconds left, but white is just better. Sachs played white here. It's just better for white. c3. I even played the right move there. I'm just a pawn down. This is what Sachs played, but maybe b4 is even stronger, or even b3. I mean, I think any of these moves are good for white. But I guess d4 is more fundamental. E takes d3. I managed to drop a piece here, and my position wasn't that bad, ironically. Wow. Okay, so Sachs's opponent played queen c7, avoiding the exchange of queens. I'm basically reinventing the wheel here, using all my time to figure out, like, a bad line, how to play it. But is your last move a mistake? No. So I traded queens, which is a new move, and then I dropped a piece with bishop b7. But I don't like black's position. I don't have enough compensation for the pawn here. Why +1 only? Why would it be more? You're up a pawn. My position is not so bad. You can't castle and I can. I don't think you really deserve more than +1, but that's enough, you know. I mean, it's just a pawn down. My position's pretty bad though. I have to castle, try to exploit your king being in the center of the board. Bishop b7 just drops a piece, but I had 10 seconds and I was totally panicking. For some reason I forgot this rather obvious idea. Alright, Morales, thank you for the lesson. We'll file it away in the information department. But I am going to try to branch out and play e4, e5 more. That's kind of a learning experience for me, because I never studied these lines at all. So I can experiment a little bit here with some new stuff. Okay, good to know. But I'm thinking that queen d4 probably isn't good for, you know, this is something that's just not that good. So the more classic lines of like queen c7 and bishop c5 and bishop d6, probably best. All right, we need to study this. Next game, Nefedov is up next. Bad enough if it's like minus 0.7. That's a failure for the opening, I think. If you're negative 0.7, I mean, you failed. That's not a good opening. You know, you shouldn't have a disadvantage with white or black of more than like half a pawn. I would consider like 0.7 to be like a clear advantage almost. That's not a good result. It's weird. Okay, Nefedov is up, but he's not moving yet. The hell was that just now? It's a troll, psychotic troll. You mean my game or the weird messages? Alright, Nefedov is not here. I don't know what happened with him. Was the challenge from like yesterday or something? He is not here. Let's just cancel this. We'll move on to... Oh man. I don't think I can handle Derndatch yet. After that first loss, 2 games in a row. Alright. What is happening? I don't know what is happening. Nothing's happening. What's up? I've got to keep trying with the e4, e5. Can't only play the Sicilian. Now, Derndatch using the Scotch move order. Wonder if you can play g6 here. Well, then c3. I think the problem with g6 would be c3. There's also like bishop g5 and stuff. I'm not going to waste all my time. Where's Bunny on the list? Rabbit Chess. I noticed that Rabbit Chess and Tushar Monday, where they like became friends with each other or something. They friended each other. They follow each other now. Only stupid names left. Tushar Monday and Rabbit Chess are buddies. Even though they're the same person. Alright. That's weird. So, this is all standard. Of course, Derndatch memorized all the theory. He's just talking about a book he read. I only know this from watching Roman play it with white in countless blitz games while I was sitting next to him. But it was so long ago that I've forgotten most of it. Yeah, he doesn't play f4 right away. He's playing bishop e3. I don't know what the significance of that is exactly. Perhaps some sort of trap. But I think I'm going to play bishop b6 because I don't like my bishop hanging on c5. Well, I mean, he could play queen d2 now. Then do I do h6 or knight e6? Let's say. What's up in the chat room? Are we like frozen or something? Now f4. Should I be castled by now? Is that the idea? Could be dangerous for me. So I'm playing for the second time an opening that I don't really know. This is very dangerous against people whose repertoires are worked out. I think I should exchange. The question is, after like castles, can he try to push the pawn to f5? There's also c5. That just might be interesting. c5 and d4 here, if I go for this. We try to steal the white square diagonal. at all costs. Sirix, thank you for subscribing. What's up? Twitch Prime. Hello. Is Mannered Monkey? That's interesting. There's a really, really strange coincidence that I can't really tell you guys about right now. Sorry, don't know why my challenge got canceled. Tushar, your challenge got canceled? Your internet maybe went out? I don't know. You would remain at the top, though. I guess I could take on f3 there. My bishop is really strong, though. It seems like selling myself short. Now, do we go to d7 or queen d5? I guess d7. I have to watch for e6 there. Oh, no. e6 right away. I mean, he sacks a pawn in that line. e6, pawn takes, knight e5, queen d5. I'll take it. Probably. Queen d5 is a little more natural. The b6 not looking great. Well, it's on the verge of looking great with c4, but I mean, I have a 5-on-3 majority on the queen side. Goofy Gumdrops. I just 4-on-3. I mean, it's very possible my pawns kind of break out there. So I wasn't that worried about it. The other one is so good. But you're right. You are right. I mean, it's not, but it's not like he has like a fortified blockade, like stopping my pawns from advancing. Okay, this move I didn't foresee. Queen takes f5, knight g5. Queen g4. He's got a tactic there, which I missed. Maybe I'll have to castle illegally queenside. I think castling kingside probably gets mated. But let's not panic here. So queen takes f5, knight g5. No queen g4 because of rook f4. He's obviously seen that. Though even that might not be 100% clear. I think I have to take this. This is too dangerous to not take it. But Goofy Gumdrops, that bishop could come into play. I might have c4 to kind of keep me in the game. Yeah, I mean now queen g4 loses massive tempi, so tempi. It's tempting. We have to stay on g6. Pretend it's like chess 960. But the other bishop makes up for the bad one, you know? I figured together, like, one of them has to be good. Rook takes f7, h6. This is like chess 960. Eventually. But let's get it out sooner than later. Even if he plays b3. I mean, if he can't stop it, even if c4 blockading, I just take en passant and play c4. We'll open this up one day or another. But actually, I have very serious threats now. I mean, if knight g5, h6, aren't I just like winning a piece? Nope. Maybe this is the time. Enough talk. Talk is cheap. We've got to go for it. Okay. I could have played h6, but he has knight h3 coming back to f4. So if he plays king h1, he's going into another dangerous pin, essentially. This is like a double attack. GG Helis, I will delay your game. All right. Rook takes f8, rook takes f8. We're all over white here. Both pieces hanging on h3 and h4. Bishop e7 now. Does the decoy hopefully work? Let's pay attention and focus. I don't see how he's going to keep g2 protected. But the bishop made its presence felt. All right, man. We learned something. 1 out of 2 with this new opening. He doubted the power. Okay, I don't know what happened in the opening. He played queen d2, and I'm not sure. I thought that f4 was the main line here. It is the main line. So bishop e3 is... Okay, not, bishop e3 is the secondary move. I played the right move, and now he plays f4. I guess now here you can also play queen d2, but that seems to have a bad score for some reason. Alright. I had this exposure to Roman, who played this line with white, and one of my ex-roommates, who was a master strength player, used to play this too. So I've watched them both play this line a lot. I didn't know this was like the main line though. I thought I had like made a mistake or something. What happens if he plays f5? Let's see. Well, when do you want him to play f5? Apparently this is good for me. This has all been played. Wow. Alright. Anyway, we're on the right track. a4, wow, a4 is Jones versus Lamy. I was scared of f5 probably more than anything else. So it's all theory. Interesting. All right. 1 out of 2 with the new openings. Not too bad. Only stupid names left. Tushar, when is your challenge? I don't know. Did you have the first one? I don't know. I'll take Tushar. I don't know if he was ahead of Only Stupid Names. I can't remember that far back. But we'll take his challenge again. See if he's here. If he's not here, he's never allowed to play. We lost Nefedov. Actually, Only Stupid Names asked me not to take his challenge right away. I'm crazy. Okay. You made me happy. Thank you for letting me win. There are like 3 books that recommend 2 knights for black. Tushar went out for lunch? Are you kidding me? Alright, whatever. I thought that Gigi Helis asked me to take a day off here. Only stupid names left. We're going to challenge, I guess. We'll take Marois. We'll take Marois' challenge. He's probably here. He's got the day off from school, maybe. Alright. Maybe not. Nobody's here when their challenge time comes. Vampire M, our first non-subscriber to play. No, Marois is here. Okay. So let's just continue. E4, E5. After F5, I thought I'm better. You challenged me half an hour ago. It's just that I play my subscribers first. On Friday, I take all the challenges in order. This is the theme of the day today, classical defense. Why do you not play was your move. Too sharp. They said that you went out to lunch. I'm sorry. We're a little confused today. I don't know. I know it was my move. I didn't know it was my move. I don't know what I'm thinking. Alright, just challenge me again, man. We'll play the next game. Stupid things happen. Sorry about that. Just re-challenge me. Alright. I'm trying to make illegal moves. Tushar, just re-challenge me. I'll take that challenge next. Then only stupid names left. We lost that guy who... No, Vampire M is next. A6, and if D4, we have the check on B4. So after castles, we play bishop A7. This is kind of interesting. It seems like I should take and play D5. No? Though that's risky because of the F file. Well, let's see. Take and play D5. Yeah, the F file could get me there. There's also more solid ways of playing for black. I guess D6. Let's just play D6. No, I will wait my turn. If I got to play you today. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You have a good chance of playing. We're going through the games pretty fast. The problem now is that D4 becomes like a threat, no? Okay, I mean, I think this is a classical response for black, just to play bishop A7. Rather than taking... Sing. I do play against the viewers here on lichess, but I only have limited time till 12:30. I play my subscribers from Twitch first, but if there's enough time, I'll play as many people as I can. You have to get in the queue, though. We have like 5 challenges, maybe 6, because one of them dropped and didn't come back. Tushar, where are you? You're having lunch now. Okay. Okay, well, knight d2 takes the fun out of bishop g4, so now I guess standard practice here would be like bishop e6, or maybe rook e8, you know, the h6 to stop knight g5. Isn't that a... Actually, knight e7 is an idea. Transferring over to the king's side, isn't that? I mean, I think that's normal, no? If d4, I can meet that with knight g6. Sergei Kudrin versus Alexander Ivanov. How many times I saw them make like quick draws in this type of variation? Kudrin was always white. I never understood why an aggressive grandmaster like Kudrin would play the Joko piano. But now the Joko piano is getting very trendy. It always seemed like too quiet for him. The guy who plays like the white side of the open Sicilian extremely well. It always seems strange that they would play the Gioco piano, not something more open. I guess the Spanish is close too. Okay, Queen C2 is a strange move. There's no question this is a strange move. I don't understand what that does. Maybe he didn't want to go to E2, but it seems like White should probably play D4 at this point. I mean, given the opportunity to play D4, I guess you should take it. I don't know. Queen C2 seems kind of weird. Nefedov. I didn't cancel any other challenges because I was not able to start yours. Sorry, it was just a miscommunication. Nefedov. I thought that Tushar was out to lunch, and I had mistakenly taken his challenge when he didn't want me to. But then I found out that he was there. There's so many like rules to go by here. We have so many parameters to fulfill. Anyway, guys, it's just fun to get here and play some chess. Last night we had a simul. I usually play 20-25 players. Yesterday I lost 4 out of 25. It was really like 23 because a couple of people left early. So now it's D4. Okay, well, we don't want to surrender our strong point on E5. At the same time, black kind of needs a plan. What would Maxim Matlakov do? He seems like quite a strong classical style player. Alyokhin put our queen on E7 to control the strong point. E5 maybe. As long as there's no let's say knight coming to D5. Next time I'll repeat E5. Haha. Well, I mean, according to the database, Derndatch, it's all been played. Did you look it up in your book now? There's something concretely good for white? Yes, F5 looks better than A4. But Gawain Jones also lost against Irvin Lamy, which is a minor upset in my opinion. Now I've got H6. I might actually have ideas of knight to G4, but that would give up some control of the D5 square. I think I would still play this. Maybe you should play H3. However, H3 weakens his kingside, and with his queen on C2, I've got this knight H5 transfer. All right. Well, I was talking about this anyway. Strong points this. The rook is not going to do anything. We have two plans basically: knight G4 and knight H5, knight F4. It's a pretty fast time control, 5+3. I actually prefer like the 7+3. I played exceptionally good against you into yesterday's simul. Come on, Nefedov. Like, I've had that position, that whole game before, until I don't know, knight B8. So I don't really consider that playing. I mean, we're just repeating theory. Now, should I take on G4 or on E5 with a knight? Seems kind of weird. Doesn't make sense to take with a knight. We have to take with a pawn. I mean, I guess trading pieces is good when you have less space, but here I don't really have less space. We have equal space. This is a logical game. It's pretty equal. There is the question of the D5 square and the F4 square. And knight C4, interesting move. I hadn't seen this. It looks like it has a problem, though. I mean, I can go here and create this pin. Can I say that create a pin? I guess he has ways to deal with it. I wouldn't let him, you know, I wouldn't let me destroy my kingside structure, though. Fishbein recommends b3 instead of a4. You played what? Oh, I answered that question already. Well, Nefedov, I basically stopped playing that opening with white because it's such a draw that it's like impossible to get an advantage. But I was suspecting you had some preparation for me. Bishop takes f3. He's got this crazy move, knight f5. Oh my god. Then my queen is nearly trapped. Alright, well, we'll just have to go with it. Bishop takes e4. Sacking the queen for a pawn and 2 pieces. I don't think that's quite enough. He didn't play knight f5. Whoa. Marois. You really should do that, I think. Now, knight f4, knight f5, queen c5. He's going to go to the g file, like try to attack me or something. So I guess we're not into that. He missed his window of opportunity to play that move. Oh, this just trades pieces, though. Black has maybe a safer king. And there's the f4 square on the king side. But should I play rook d8? Okay, we'll reduce his attacking force a little bit. By trading one set of rooks, I think that eliminates some of his attacking potential. Queen h4 or queen g5. I think we're winning. I guess it's forced mate almost. I mean, he does have f3, but it's pretty horrible. Alright. Interesting game. Again, another classical game. Every game I'm black and it's like an e45 opening. Bishop e3 is very rare. Huh. Couple games. Good players with white, though. Burnett and Gavin Wall. Decent players. Both players played d6. Anyway, interesting game, kind of like straight out of 500 Master Games of Chess. Old school. Old school, like, classical opening. Bishop e3 is kind of weird. Soltigo, what's up? No, I thought it was Soltigo, but he's not here. Alright. I missed the main in 2, very likely. Very likely. We've been a little off today, and last night. Only stupid names left. Jacob is also challenging, and Tushar Kamde. Tushar's back now. Do I want to play Only Stupid Names Left? Let's hope he's ready for the challenge. I'm going to play e4. Very likely if I miss mate in 2. I hope he's here. I can't believe it's going to happen again. Another player who wasn't ready for the challenge. Fishbein said f5 instead of a4. That's what I was saying, Derndatch. But f5 makes a lot more sense. I don't understand a4. You know, I mean, you're playing on the king side of the board. This pawn roller is white's whole position, you know, in that line. Alright, stupid name's going to have to re-challenge me. I mean, he says he wants to play later, but I don't know how much later, you know. All right. Where's Jacob's challenge? Where are these challenges going? What happened to Jacob's challenge? And the rest of you guys are up next. Tushar, can we play yet? Let me take the first non-subscriber here while you guys sort out your situations. What's the most hilarious game I've ever seen or played? Yeah, when I dropped a piece in 7 moves once, I thought. It wasn't hilarious to me, but I was white in an English opening where my knight on f3 got chased from f3 to g5, and it was defended by a bishop on c1. And it was a long game, and I was a master, and my opponent was a master. And we were sitting there. It was like a club championship game, you know, and I'm sitting there thinking about like how to develop my king side. Pawns on c4, d4, knight on g5, defended by a bishop on c1 against the queen on d8. And I thought for like 10 minutes on this move about whether to play g3 or e3. I just like dropped my piece, my knight on g5. I went e3 after deep thought, you know. He just plays queen takes knight. It's ridiculous, you know. That was one of my most hilarious games. Another hilarious game I had was when I tried to move twice against an old guy. I've told this story a lot, so some of the regulars might know, but I had this one game where I was white in a Bogo Indian, and my opponent had a queen on e7. He had played queen d8 to e7 at one point in the opening, which is the main line of the Bogo. But it was like a 70-year-old guy, and he was like thinking forever. It was a master, though, not like a beginner. He was a 70-year-old guy. He was like thinking forever. I'm walking around the tournament hall for 20 minutes plus, you know. And then for some reason, I just decided that my opponent had moved queen e7, even though he had made that move earlier. And so I got down to the board. I started thinking, even though his clock was running, and I made a second move. So there's been a lot of crazy stuff that I've done. Old Indian. I think I need more oxygen or something. I don't know. Losing a piece in 6 moves or making 2 moves in a row. Those definitely rank up there. Okay, so Vampire M is a new player. We're gonna expect him to play this patented lion's jaw thing where they do like bishop e7, knight f8, g5, knight g6. It doesn't seem right, but maybe it's not that bad. Tushar, okay, I'll play you in the next game. A deep thought. That's, you know, thinking for like longer than, let's say thinking for longer than 10 minutes on one move. It'd be one thing if I like instantly blitzed the move that like dropped a piece, you know, but to sit there and think for 10 minutes as a 23+100 player about, you know, dropping a piece on move 6 is pretty embarrassing, you know. In both cases, my opponents thought I must be on drugs or something. Okay, so here's the standard business with g5. He's going to play knight f8, knight g6, and that type of stuff. I'm looking for pawn breaks with maybe c5. h3, knight f8, c5. But h3 might allow him to open up my king side, so I have to be careful about actually playing that. I would consider even playing g3. g3, knight f8, c5. Pawn takes c5 is okay for me. I'm not even sure. Maybe I should close the center with d5. That almost seems illogical. I think it does seem illogical to close the center. All right. Dropping pieces in 6 or less. How'd the old man react? He was like totally like in a state of shock, you know? He was disoriented. This is a master opponent, you know. I'm guessing he was 70. He could have been a little younger, but like late 60s at the at the minimum. So he wasn't a young player. He was stunned, man. I was like making an illegal move, and I'm supposed to be like a FIDE rated. I was at least 2280 or something at the time. All right. We're trying to stop his encroachment on the king side. Vampire M. I didn't bother to check how many games he's played. He's got enough bullet games. I don't like playing new accounts with not enough games. Of course, bullet you can play 500 games in one day, so I should probably not even count that as anything. This is an amazingly annoying setup. There probably is something wrong with it for black if I would spend the time to go and find out what I'm supposed to do against this. But it's something that you run into so rarely. All right. It actually started, I mean, it wasn't a king's pawn opening. It's actually an old Indian, which is weird. Now, I don't think he's supposed to castle here. I think he's supposed to play like without castling, you know, some weird stuff like rook g8. Castling seems like a mistake for black. Now he doesn't have any real, you know, serious attack with his king over there. He can't go crazy. I could even play h4 possibly. King Wiki. So, but anyway, like a friend of mine wrote an article about what happened, and his point was that, you know, I think that this disoriented the guy, and the funny part was that I played really well after that ridiculous episode, and I basically ended up strategically just crushing him. But I mean, imagine you play someone who's supposed to be a master and they try to make an illegal move, moving twice in a row. I mean, what could you think about them, you know? Is this really a competent player? He probably started to underestimate me. Black is 1500, but he's playing super fast. G4. Guess I have to take that. This looks good for black now, except h6 is a little bit weak. I'm going to lose my dark square bishop, which I don't really want to. I have no time to think. I have literally like no time to think. I can't afford to take the time to do that. To move my bishop away. Maybe I can gain, I'm gaining a tempo here. He goes h5. This is overly ambitious, perhaps. A little bit overly ambitious. Knight h2. My original plan was to play knight g5, but then he trades off his bad bishop. I'm not sure about this, though. Basically, I'm playing for the white squares. If I take here, he plays king g7 with a good game. So Amazingly fast. He's 1500. I think this may have been a mistake to play King G2. Okay, I don't have time to commentate or even think. Every time he saw me in the hall, he smirked. No. Now my queen is virtually trapped. Not quite, though. Just virtually. Seems a little strong for 1500, this player. This was maybe his first really suspicious move. I thought he had King G7 there. Now he's still got interesting stuff. Bishop E8 is a subtle move to play. Yeah. Lucky my queen isn't trapped. Extremely dangerous player. He's more like 2000. All right, F6. Basically, I don't have time to commentate, unfortunately. Everyone's challenged me to... Okay, 5-3, 6-3. I like the 7-3 best. Still, white's not winning. Look at his kingside defense. There's no way... Look at this. He finds this move. Knight takes G5, maybe. I'm not sure this is even good. Extremely strong threats. Maybe I'm winning with bishop takes G6, but I have to have mate. I don't see any mate here. What is the deal with this guy? He's 1500. Every time I do a stream, it's like the same thing again and again. Random 1500s play like masters. Am I actually winning? It's dangerous. But I think this was a mistake. There's still no mate. We finally have a mate with 8 seconds left. All right, Tushar, you're next. already played Marwa, right? This game was horrible for me. I played absolutely inconsistently. I might have just been clearly worse at some point. The engine says I'm better here, but it's not easy to play. Not at all easy for white to play. G4, H takes G4. It says I'm better here. I should have played bishop D2. This point I have a minute still. He's so fast, I just couldn't keep up with him. Apparently I never blew it completely. I thought I would. Alright. Tushar is next. 5 plus 3. Dracula Frankenstein. Dracula Frankenstein is Vienna game, right? I'm only playing E4, E5 today. Trying to learn something new. Alright, Tushar plays bishop B5. All the rest of my opponents plays bishop C4. Now, C3, just to prove me wrong. Why not like G6, for example? Just, we can transpose to a Spanish with bishop B5, bishop G7. Normally against the C3, knight F6 and D5 are the main lines. You thought it was funny since the last guy was Vampire M, but I mean, it's insane how fast these people are. He's pretty good too. I mean, a 1500 lichess is like 1400 FIDE. I mean, let's just say there's 100 points rating inflation. This guy is more than 1,000 rating points. Is like 1,000 rating points lower than me. He should win never. You know, basically statistics say. But I've been getting lots of opponents on here who are 1,000 rating points lower than me. And I have a hell of a time beating them if I can beat them at all. So I don't know how that's possible, you know? I mean, statistically, like when someone's 1,000 rating points than you, lower than you, you should win every single game without any problem. I believe in statistics, you know, that's the way it's supposed to be. But this game I could have lost if I made like one tiny slip. I would have lost. It was that close, you know. Okay, so D4. Obviously the critical move. I guess there's some argument for taking on D4. But I feel like maybe this move casts doubt on G6 altogether. If I play anything slow, I'm going to get in big trouble. So bishop G7. I think this is just good for white. G6 is too much. It's one thing to play it against bishop B5, but it's probably not a good idea against bishop C4. And this is basically a setup where he can transpose to bishop C4 type of setups. So it was a bad idea. I don't know why I expected white to play like bishop out, you know, instead of D4 in the following move, in the last move. D6, maybe it's not that bad for black. A really, really dangerous line for black. Yeah, well, Derndatch, okay. I don't care about your FIDE rating, but I do care about your, like, lichess rating. I mean, if your lichess rating is 1,000 points lower than me, you really shouldn't be able to give me a tough game, you know? 400 points, 500 points, 600 points, okay. I mean, then it should be very likely close. And you could even make a draw, or even occasionally beat someone 600 points higher. But if it's like 1,000, that should be too much. Bishop B5, it's transposing to a Lopez, and I think he's doing the wrong thing there with that. Bishop B5 kind of justifies G6. Bishop B5 is a slower move. Bishop C4 is more direct, attacking F7. I think that's the refutation, if there is one. With bishop b5, he's just transposing into maybe like a normal kind of g6 Spanish. I mean, maybe there's a lot of rating improvement on lichess. Maybe people are getting better. There's less inflation, in other words. I used to think that the lichess ratings were inflated, but okay, it's hard to regulate it. It's not like a really legitimate over-the-board rating system. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Bishop e3, just maintaining the center. What if I take on d4, give up my center to open my bishop on g7? Anyway, I'm wasting a lot of time, I know. You were slower but better than me. Yeah, well, Durndash, I think that you're underrated as far as your FIDE rating goes. You're playing a lot, you're working a lot in your game, yet you're playing no FIDE rated games. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you were 2,133 a year ago, and you're playing constantly and constantly studying and working on your game. I mean, there's almost no way that you can't be stronger than you were before. You know what I mean? You're just like improving without playing. Your rating isn't going up, but you should be like 2,200 at least by that, with that amount of time that you've been putting on into chess. You know, if you didn't gain 75 points strength-wise, I would be very surprised. So castles, bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6, pawn takes e5, pawn takes... Well, if I take on e4, get my pawn back... Now I have a threat. No. No threats. I'm saying, like, Durndacz's FIDE rating is 2133, but he hasn't played a game in like a year or two or whatever. But he's constantly playing. He's constantly playing on lichess. He's constantly studying. He's improving. So I'm saying, like, even though his FIDE rating is 2133, like, his rating should really be higher. He should be more like 2200, you know. If you improve without playing rated games, then you become underrated, I would say. Well, I don't know. I don't like bishop b5 in general. It's not bad, but it's probably not the most incisive way. You know, if he had played bishop c4 instead, I think I could be in big trouble, basically. Immediate threats against f7, it's a much more dangerous position for black. This is probably some Smyslav Roy Lopez with normal moves for both sides. It's just a little bit better for white. White can play d5, absolutely. It's one way to play. I would agree. You know, now he can play d5 without exchanging white square bishops. Just not exchanging pieces, maybe. I'm looking at d5, but I'm running out of time. Just drops a pawn. Knight g4. Why don't I do that? White's slightly better. We have no time. I mean, f6 is bad. It's like a bad King's Indian. But I thought this might be okay for black. Not very exciting, but at least I can trade my bad bishop and maybe only be a little bit worse. I am making an effort to play e4, e5, even though I don't normally play e4, e5 today. So that tournament was last year, your last tournament. You lost 18 points? Wow. Or should I take back with my knight here? Maybe I should, because otherwise the knight ends up misplaced. White is slightly better. Not a very exciting position, though. I would classify this as symmetrical, kind of boring. Okay, a3 is not a bad move. It's basically like a King's Indian where I traded the dark square bishops. I like a3. He might expand with b4. Puts his pawns on dark squares, so his bishop will be better. It's a good strategic plan. This move is also good. And I don't really know what to do now. Strengthen my e5 square. I have some problems, but among them is time. We've played all these moves. We have no time left. Theoretically, d5 could be a mistake for white, I think, giving me play on the king side. Becomes a King's Indian now, but my knight can go to f7 to join the game, which is really important. Okay, it's unclear. Which way I should recapture on f5, I don't know. Wow. So it's basically just a battle of time. Do I have any attacking chances? Okay, it's just decided by time. I mean, I guess he let me have a little too much here. But it's not about the position. This just melts down into, we had 15 moves. And both of us have 20 seconds left at this point, where it's chances for both sides. Thinking too much, I guess. But the opening, this looks dubious for me. The computer is actually supporting his idea of bishop e5, but I thought that white really should go for bishop c4. Okay, g6 is a really, really rare move, and probably not great against the Ponziani. I should play a normal move there. But after d4, d6, I was concerned about bishop g7, d5, d6, to be honest. I thought this is probably better for white, you know, even if he just goes here. I'm not that crazy about this. Maybe it's not so bad, but my gut instinct was that white should play bishop c4 in this position. Even after d6 as well, like bishop c4. Alexander Morozevich. This has to be better for white. Alright. Let's see what we got here. I already played Bourgeois. Only stupid names left. This is your last chance for today. Then I'll take the non-subscribers. What's up, 11 hydroxy metabolite? Alright, only stupid names left. I'm going to play e4. I'm playing e4 with white and e4, e5 with black. Trying to get like aggressive kingside attack style positions if I can. We finally, after 30 moves and time pressure, had a kingside attack against Tushar there, but objectively, like, that game was good for white. He was better. At the end it was equal. Near the end it was equal. But it just degenerated into time pressure. Yeah, was it you? Some people have played h6 against me instead of e6. I mean, that seems wrong. I played c5 yesterday. We had a game recently with c5, bishop e3. Someone tried to win my e5 pawn. Here I don't know. Should I play bishop e3? Because if I play bishop e3, then black can play like bishop g6, knight f5. It almost feels like I should just go ahead and play c4 directly. This is all book. I just don't know it. Another one of those 1500s. Should be stronger than most of our 2000s. This guy's challenged me Valido. He played like a perfect game against me, but offered a draw in Sunday's Simul. In a winning position, almost winning position. I apparently don't know my Philidor theory as well as I should. But here, I don't know. Do I have to automatically recapture? I mean, I think that black is actually legitimately threatening b5. You could think about trying to take the pawn like a Catalan, you know, with like knight a3, knight takes c4. But knight a3, b5 is bad for me. Knight d2 might be better. Let's say like knight to d2, he can just play knight b6. So I guess I have to take back. It does seem like a bit of a waste of time. And now it's like a Slav defense. Black should be okay here. No, I'm not really thrilled with this. You know, most of the modern lines, people are playing like knight d2. So there's probably a good reason for that. You know, with knight d2, it would give me ideas of knight b3 to kind of stop c5. I mean, I'm not sure which position I should play knight b2. Maybe after castles, knight e7, for example, to play knight on bd2, to try to play knight b3 and induce this, or discourage the c5 type of idea. What I did is probably not all that great here. It's a position, though. I'm not trading pieces. Trying to play aggressively. It's like a Slav defense more than a Caro-Kann now, actually. That's why a lot of people have this repertoire where they play the Slav and the Caro-Kann. The openings are extremely interrelated, strategically speaking. This way we can play rook d1. This is not a Caro-Kann to me anymore, which is good that I played d4. I can transfer to a d4 type of like mentality. But I should probably play something more aggressive if I really want a kingside attack. Like, you know, you can play very sharp h4. I'm not sure where that is theoretically. This is just avoiding like swapping knight for knight. It's also bearing down on c5. Okay, rook d1. Again, like playing against his freeing break with c5. He doesn't have any bad pieces, but still, you know, he wants to be able to do something actively. he doesn't have a bad bishop on c8 that he needs to get out or something like that, so black doesn't have to panic. But at the same time, he has less space. f6 is anti-positional. c5, if he can't engineer that break, you know, it's kind of like, well, what is black supposed to do here? Slowly have less space. You were busted in the final position, Tushar, but I mean, either of us could have blundered and lost. I mean, the actual truth, though, is a very important strategic idea, which I've taught to a lot of people on the white side of the King's Indian. You need to blockade with f4. You need to set up a permanent like f4 blockade, a la Reshevsky or one of these strong positional players who plays the white side of the King's Indian. I recommend the book Art of Positional Play by Samuel Reshevsky. He has several examples of games where he plays the f4 blockading strategy. And once you set up the f4 blockade, now there's no more counterplay for black, and you can like slowly induce me to play e4 and then maybe lever the king side with g4. But f4, the idea of playing f4 for you is really important to reduce black, you know, black's counterplay in that type of structure. You were actually set up to play f4 at one moment, then you didn't. You finally decided, or you know, didn't consider doing it. Okay, talking a lot, but I'm not saying anything. Maybe a4 only drives his knight back to d7, which in fact wouldn't be such a bad square. Where does this bishop go, guys? It's got to go here. I mean, there's simply no other place to put it. Rook c8 is a absolutely probably best move. Like Slav players know this idea. But if you're a Caro-Kann player who doesn't play the Slav, maybe you're not aware of this concept. Only stupid names left. He's another one of those 1500s who seems pretty good. I would say he's improved dramatically from this point. We've played 15 games. I mean, I would say he's improved dramatically over the last third of our games. His game seems to be getting stronger. He's a subscriber here, but he's played me very tough the last 5 at least. Once you play f4 Tushar in that structure, then all I can do is like maintain the tension or play e4. But if I play e4, I have pawns on f5 and e4 and a bishop on the light squares. That's kind of bad. You can also lever my king side eventually with g4 once you're set up for that. Once your king is tucked away on h1 or something like that, and you just eliminate that counterplay that I have with f4, you know. But anyways, I mean, the result of that game was largely determined by time. Now, it looks like only stupid names might be in trouble. The white square bishop was an important defender of the king's side. This is a pretty instructive situation. So now he's losing material. A good idea, but I think he wasn't ready for counterplay yet. We take this pawn out now. If we only had a piece to sacrifice like on g6. Maybe h4, h5. Let's say queen g4 as well. Very strong threats. It's a cool position. Is it enough, the queen g4? Yeah, king h7, knight g5 check looks good. The idea was to get more positions where I can get sort of kingside attacks, because I wasn't getting that lately in my games. You always miss the stream because you're chatting with people. The silent ones are the ones that are learning the most, huh? That may be the case. Well, I mean, just chatting isn't enough, you know. Some people are too social. Yeah, okay, I'm threatening bishop takes g6, winning on the spot, so that's definitely a problem. No immediate knockout. What do I do? Bishop g5 followed by h4, h5, I guess. I'm not going to worry about material here. We're just going to go all in for the kingside attack. If he takes on, so Tax takes on d4 at some point, we'll save our bishop. But I mean, we just go for kingside threats. h4, h5 is extremely dangerous. If I have to take a timeout to like move my bishop on c2, that's okay. You can just feel the power of the white united pieces are too strong. Well, I can simply take and take. I can also play queen h4. I was concerned for some reason that would... No, there's no way to defend against that. There's no king g7 because of queen h6 check. There is king f7. Then knight e5 check is crushing. Yeah, okay, this is just over. It's too strong. But an instructive loss for black. All right, let's see who's back. We've still got an hour. The stream seems to be really slow, like slow motion today. We've got a lot of games, but that's good. Sometimes the stream goes by like in a blink. I usually stream for 2.5 hours. Let's see the analysis board. I mean, is this just a good variation for white or not? So as I said, it seems like knight on bd2 is the modern interpretation. This is not a really old idea. This is trendy as hell. And I think that the majority of these 600 games have been played in the last 10 years. I played instead c4. Just not really, I guess, dangerous for black. D takes c4, bishop takes c4, b6, bishop b3. Only a couple of games. White has equal position according to the engine. Maybe white has a tiny plus. But the knight on bd2 is a better idea. Alright, that's noted. I'm going to move on here and play some more challengers. Valida we played in the Simul yesterday. Dracofire we played before. This player we played once before. We'll at least get to those challenges, guys. You missed bishop takes h6. Morales managed to beat me. Yeah, well, I mean, no, I was out of book in the opening, and I hung a piece. Well, I got my knight trapped on a5. He knew the theory in the two knights defense, and I didn't. And I tried to follow this weird queen d4 variation that I had once against Nefedov, but I didn't know the theory, and I couldn't remember what I analyzed. I spent all my time in the opening trying to reinvent the wheel, and then, you know, when we both had like 20 seconds left, I got my knight trapped on a5. But I'm pretty slow in the first games in the stream, you know. It's even worse than... Alright, I'm going to play f4 this time. Valida played like a pretty perfect game against me yesterday. I guess he had to go and offered me a draw or something. But ironically, someone else played against me like a few days ago or a week ago. I had maybe about a week and a half ago, we had the same variation. This knight on bd7 on move 3. I don't really know, you know, if it's a good thing, but it seems like this opponent is kind of an expert in the Philidor, because he outplayed me theoretically yesterday, playing the best possible variation. Again, he's playing the best response here. Now, I don't know. I do know that d5 is black's main idea in this position. I had a game the other day, or last week, where I took with a knight on d4, but I think that's not as good. My intuition is telling me to play bishop e3 here. But I'm going to have problems with my e4 pawn. There's also e5. He's 1700, 1500 in blitz. So he certainly shouldn't be unbeatable. The simul game against me, he played perfectly. A very, very strong game. Am I going to have problems with my e4 pawn? If I play bishop e3, then d5, takes bishop c5, move the queen. Do I end up in some kind of terminal pin? That'd be crazy. Bishop e3, d5, ed, bishop c5, queen d2, queen e7. Like pinning me on the file, and there's no defense. What if I played bishop d3? Then he still has the same idea. There he's not pinning me, he's just threatening terrible things like bishop c5. What if we prophylactically move the queen, like queen f2? You know what I'm not considering though is like bishop e3, d5, e5. Bishop c5, queen d2, takes, that kind of thing. Alright, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm just guessing. I guess I'll have to push to e5. If he plays d5, I play e5. Look, it's like instantly moving. Could have swore I was 2500. Yeah, it's a different time control. Blitz or rapid. There are different ratings. This is the cutoff, I guess. 7 plus 3 is considered rapid, and 5 plus 3 and 6 plus 3 are considered blitz. It's completely arbitrary. Queen f2, knight g4. Okay, now like bishop g1. Where do I put my queen in the event of bishop c5? I don't know, but this player is... too strong for 1700. He tries to take the pawn on h2. He's falling behind in development pretty badly. I think it should be dangerous for black. But he may not have a choice. Okay, I mean, what's he going to do? Knight h6? No, he has a better idea. This is the same move he got me with last night. Knight a4, queen somewhere. Maybe I should just castle. It would make more sense, wouldn't it? Alright. I guess we need to castle. He's used no time. I think last night's game he made one inaccuracy. H2 is defended. It was knight takes H2, knight takes H2, queen H4 check. Then I had G3, but I dropped my rook. So knight takes H2, knight takes H2, queen H4 check, queen F2, queen takes H2 is playable for black. It's a question as to whether I should take on H4. He still has knight takes H2 here as well. Winning and a pawn is in the same kind of way. But it does look like he's lagging in development on that pawn grab again. What's he supposed to do? Of course he can take on H2, as he could last move. But development is seriously behind for black. A minute ahead of me on the clock. Doesn't take the pawn. Here I have queen d4, just trying to control the center, but it feels like I should play h3. I feel like I'm missing some sort of trap or something. Knight h6, g4. Alright guys, we have time for like at least 3 more games after this. I think about 3 more games, if they're longer ones. I'm sorry if anybody challenges me that doesn't get a chance to play, but the 7+3 games can go like over 15 minutes apiece. So it seems some sort of Philidor expert apparently, which is unusual for players of this rating. I mean, when I play on lichess in tournaments, most people who are rated around 1700 or below don't know any opening theory at all. Very, very little. And Valido seems like he knows the Philidor like perfectly. I don't play e4 as much as d4, so I know less about e4 openings that I don't play as black. Oh, knight f2. I knew there was something here. Yeah, that's the standard 1200 type of move. 1700, 1200. Is this like a forced win for him? I won't be surprised. He can offer me a draw or something. Lucky I'm not lost. I just totally didn't see knight f2. What should I play? It's really kind of a tough call. Queen e3, knight takes c3, queen takes c3. I definitely can't take on f2. He also makes a lot of instant moves. He's a very good Philidor expert, but he seems inordinately better than 1700. But the 1500 blitz rating is not believable. To play a move like knight f2 and be 1400 in bullet or 1500 in blitz, this is like, he plays too perfectly. Every move is like the best possible continuation. don't know what to do. He's 1400 in blitz. 1400 bullet, 1500 in blitz. That's just ridiculously strong. Now I'm going to lose my rook on the back rank, right? Maybe I can play bishop d3 and try to hold on. I feel like black is somehow better, almost dynamically better. Instantly makes the move. Philidor himself plays like a master, but he's 1400 in blitz. 1500. I'm only slightly worse now. Of course, f6 is dangerous because of e6. His time use is, look at this, a5, very strong move. Alright, we'll try to get him out of here. If only I could somehow trade queens. Maybe the endgame would be slightly better for me somehow. At least equal. Finally, he's a little bit on the defensive, retreating his knight. There's no way you could correlate his play with someone who has a rating of 1500 in blitz and 1400 in bullet. Just far too strong for that. It's more like a 2000 plus player. Maybe I'm better now. Maybe I'm clearly better now. Looks like he has strong counterplay, kind of outside the box type of thinking. I don't expect black made a lot of mistakes. A3 strong. Very consistent play. Very consistent, like constantly taking the initiative, constantly putting pressure on me. He's not afraid. Slowly we're both down to 1 minute. I'm not sure about the move to play a3 though. Kind of locked it up there. He might be better off not playing a3. He's kind of drifting a little bit. Now he's offering to trade queens, which I really don't mind. Because my king will never be entirely safe here with that pawn on a3. Generally speaking, like when you have a space advantage with my e5, I would say, yeah, probably don't trade queens. But here, I'm not sure my king is going to be 100% safe. He's still hanging on, basically, is what I wanted to say. Let's get my king into the center. But I mean, you know, 1500 in blitz. No way, dude. If you played like this every game, you would be well over 2000. Now we can launch a kingside attack, but I was trying to be very careful about it, like very carefully prepare it. Maybe he'll close it up with h5. Probably his best chance. Actually, wow, he's got knight to b4. some counterplay, perhaps. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's hanging on now. Knight b4 gives a massive play. Lucky I have this. I'm probably winning now. This was a crafty plan. Check this game out. Black is better, I think, out of the opening. Bishop e3 apparently main move. d5 apparently a main move. e5 is a move. It's all theory. I did not know this. Now apparently the majority of players played knight h6 here. The computer likes white. This is actually Karyakin against the Pomniachtchi. Oh my god. The aforementioned pawn grab. I must have... Oh, I hallucinated. Okay, so this doesn't work. You guys are right. I forgot my queen just protects h2. He can't grab this pawn. But anyway, he just follows theory with queen b6, castles queenside, and then knight takes h2 has been played. It wins a pawn, but black is far behind in development. But it's still probably the best move. He played knight c5, and then h3 is the bad move. h3 is not a good move. I didn't see knight f2. So knight c5, knight d4 was played by Furtsets, or Furchet. I don't know how to say it. So I need someone from a Slavic-speaking country to explain to me how to pronounce that. Furtsek. I don't know. It's a grandmaster, I guess, from Croatia. Is he Croatian? Knight e6. But this is like equal for black. Serbian Santa Claus, yeah, you can play. We've got to accept our subscriber challenges. But there's no way that guy's 1500 in blitz. I mean, come on. Maybe he just knows a lot of openings. I don't know. He's like perfect in the opening. Serbian Santa Claus, what are we doing here? Playing the Alekhines defense? Alright. I don't know why I decided to play Alekhines defense. Something different and fun. Bishop c4. You're wrong when I say Šarić, so it's Šarić. Okay. Watch too much Star Trek. Queen f3. Yeah. I played bishop e6 a lot. I don't know if this is such a good line, though. I managed to win the last game. Black kind of lost on time. It started to kind of drift. But he's apparently like a Philidor theory expert. And I don't know enough. So I was pretty scared. Santa Claus is playing super fast. I don't know, you might be able to sack a pawn there with d4, Santa. Get my pieces developed. It's basically about equal. I decided to play an Alekhines defense. It was enough with the e4, e5. By the way, well, it was knight c3 on move 1. That's how I got mixed up. But normally against knight c3, I play d5. So that's weird. He just caught me off guard. I did win the last game. But truthfully, after the opening, it's unclear. And again, I had to spend all my time like figuring out opening theory that I don't know. I had to actually find the best moves. Reinventing opening theory, which people already know. This is kind of strange. He's playing queen e4. Interesting maneuver. Santa Claus is getting extremely strategic on me. No tactics, just strategy. Okay, the game I played yesterday against Santa Claus in the Simul, I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but I just didn't know the theory. Santa Claus, I knew that I was supposed to play, or you can play knight d7, and then I didn't know you're supposed to like sack the pawn on c5. But I think in retrospect, that's a variation I need to really learn very deeply if I want to play. If you want to play knight d7 as I did, it's probably safer to play a different continuation. a4 is a strong move. Very simple and strong move. But I think I'm going to go ahead and play a5. I normally don't like to put my pawns on the same color with my bishop, but I'm afraid if I don't do it here, he's just getting too much space. I did manage to find the right moves though. I followed the Karyakin game, apparently. But if I tend to play the Caro-Kann, I really should know something about knight c5. I mean, it's not a secret to me, you know. Spidler, a lot of people have played that variation. There's no excuse. I'm angry with myself because there's no excuse for me, you know, not to know something about that more than like one move or two moves. I haven't played the Caro-Kann that much that I've run into that particular variation. To be honest, Santa Claus, you know, in my history, I never played bishop f5 Caro-Kann. So you know a little bit of background. I always played knight d7 or knight f6. And so I've actually never played the Caro-Kann with bishop f5 in a tournament game in my life. I've played knight f6, I've played knight d7. So these side variations like knight c5, I literally have no like previous knowledge about. Although I've commentated and observed enough tournaments that I really ought to know something, you know. Knight c5, knight takes c6, knight takes c4, knight takes d8, knight takes c3. B takes c3, rook takes d8 with the weird endgame that might actually be better for white. But there ought to be something for black here. We could just trade pieces, of course. Knight c5, knight takes e6. I could just take back. I mean, I don't see any tactics for black at all. Knight takes d4. There's a funny line, bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4, knight c5. That would just transpose, though. Why would I want to give up that bishop anyway? Knight takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6. Another interesting line. I might have missed something. Guys, I have to go in like 30 minutes. E5 puts my pawns on the wrong color. He's got his queen on c4, the move that forced me to resign yesterday. Ironically, the same exact square. I was thinking knight f6 here. Queen h4, g5. Knight f6, queen f4, g5. This is a pretty nasty move, actually. He might have to take it, and then I'm fine. If he has to take, then black is fine. I'm just a cheap tactician. We've got all different tricks to like win a piece. I think he has to trade. It's the only move that doesn't lose a piece. Funnily enough. Funnily. Queen f4 loses a piece. Queen h4, queen e5, and queen e3. All of them lose pieces, I'm pretty sure. Chess is 99% tactics. Good quote. Now black is fine. This is kind of a weird idea that I borrowed from the Accelerated Dragon. But, you know, why not? There probably is a good reason why not, though. I'm possibly putting my pieces into awkward position. We could always call it off. I think I'm getting a little overconfident with this move. We can win a pawn. Winning a pawn. Santa Claus is fast and good. Now what, though? We're up a pawn, but he has some play. I have e5, kind of a nice activating move, though I give the pawn back if I do that. Yeah, I'll probably try this. To try to be able to play queen d4 in some positions and just gain some space. I'm just playing for cheap tactics. He took it. I thought that we have play here because of queen d4. Does this just win? Just cheap tactics, tricks. Tricks only would be proud. Alright. We can always rely on cheap tactics against Santa Claus. I suckered him into taking the pawn. There's nothing he could do. He can't take the pawn. See, I'm getting warmed up now. We're thinking about cheap tricks. Alright, Santa Claus. It's not fair. Santa Claus he just woke up or something. Alright, guys. Draco Fire. Kasparov said Ponomarev doesn't understand chess at GM level. Extremely good opening knowledge and very good in tactics. Interesting. There are definitely players like that. I mean, Kasparov, you know, he could pretty much say that against, I guess, like, about almost anyone he wants, you know. Draco Fire, I don't know if he's here. Soul Cheapo. Back rank mate. Okay, it was pretty. It was nice, though. I mean, I found a way to get the initiative using cheap tactics. Subtle Tigo. Serbian Santa Claus doesn't know what hit him. He wasn't prepared for that tactical play. Alright, D3. D3, it's just a neutral move. I mean, you're basically giving up your opening advantage, but there's nothing wrong with it. You know, now he's going to play the reverse Philidor. Everybody, tomorrow night we're going to have a blitz tournament. I think we'll do 5+2. I'll send a message to, well, I know no messages for that. Just be aware that tomorrow night is my weekly viewer tournament. So we're going to do, oh, ambulance coming. Awesome. He's going to play the same line the other guy played. But I can't play F5 here, so we don't have to worry about that. Serbian Santa Claus, he probably worked all night or something. Alright. Just a reverse Philidor, or he can transfer to some weird, I don't like the English here though. King's Indian attack or Philidor would be right for white. I mean, I guess the Philidor and the Pirt's defense also have something in common. What I meant was my game results are mostly decided on a blunder, the first blunder. I mean, this is very typical. This is why, like, okay, like, classically they say, oh, you should learn, like, the Russian school, you know, end games first. I think that's true to some degree. You do need to learn king and pawn endgames and rook endgames, but for most players who are like below, I don't know, let's say below 1700, I mean, you don't get that many games that are like dead close in the ending. Usually people are just making mistakes in the opening or middle game. And most games between players who are under, say, 1600 are decided, like you said, by blunders. I mean, even in top Grandmaster games, there's a lot of blunders. So, yeah, I mean, tactics, basic tactics should be the first thing that you have to master. I try to focus on teaching people strategy because that's the hardest thing to learn. But at the same time, we can't take the tactics for granted, you know? You really have to be competent tactically. I'm better than I give myself credit for. 1700 tomorrow night is the viewer tournament. It'll be 5+2. Guys, every Tuesday I do a viewer tournament. Most of you are aware, but for those who are not subscribers or regulars, if you tune in here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. European time, we're going to host a 5+2 blitz tournament, casual. I usually mix up the time control. Mubot says 5-0 or 7-2, but it's arbitrary. It doesn't have to be the same time control every time. Neglecting the opponent's threat. Well, that's like true. You know, Smirnov is probably right about that. I definitely see more tactics for myself than I do for the other guy. But I think that what Igor Smirnov, according to you, said, you know, he's promoting prophylactic thinking to some degree. Most players, like card players, when they're playing poker, the biggest weakness you can have is not, I said this last week or a few days ago, but the biggest weakness you can have is just not really thinking about what your opponent's doing, you know. You're only thinking about your cards, and you don't think about what the opponent has. I mean, it's the same thing in chess. You have to constantly think about both. I can name some strong tactical players. Larry Christensen is one of them, where, not to take anything away from Larry, he's a former 2600 player, but with tactics that are for him, he sees like 99.9% of the tactics for him. But you can catch him out with tactics for you. You know, so in other words, his percentage of finding tactics for him is like 99.9, almost like flash tactics. He can see them instantly. But when the opponent has a tactic, he's not as good. I mean, he can see like 90%, you know, and that's a striking difference. Some prophylactic experts like Karpov, I mean, probably see equally, you know, as many tactics for the opponent as they do for themselves. But certain players, they're just seeing more for themselves than for the other player, or looking more for themselves than for the other player, and that's a kind of weakness that can be exploited at a high level. So Bishop G2, I don't see any way to take advantage of this, you know. We just transposed to a sort of reversed Pearts. There doesn't, I'm sitting here thinking and thinking, but there doesn't seem to be any concrete way to take advantage. Obviously, pawn takes pawn, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes f2, check, doesn't work. But I could play queen takes and bishop takes f2. But if I play pawn takes, what's my plan? Maybe I can play like b6 or something weird. I'm sure that it's nothing new under the sun. You know, like this has all been thought of before. And basically, I have nothing better. I mean, there's one game in Nesbedinov's. I talk about Nesbedinov a lot. I have his book, and I like his games a lot. There's one game where, I think it's a Nesbedinov game, where he actually played, I don't remember which color he was, but this happened where black exchanged on e4, but I don't like this exchange. You know, I think this exchange is wrong for black. That happened in the game, but it's not something you really want to do. That's my argument here. We don't really want to make that pawn exchange on e4 because we're giving up a strong pawn on d5. A couple of days ago I played a game and suddenly 10 spectators appeared. Well, there's a good chance if it was a higher rated player, you would be on lichess TV or something. Maybe it was a streamer. I mean, there's a couple of possibilities. Though your rating isn't high enough, that you would be playing like the highest rated player, you know, in a certain time controller or something. You could be on lichess TV. It could just be a random player who is streaming. Maybe he just has a lot of friends. I don't know. What are the possibilities? Anyway, okay, let's try to be fundamental here. I'm playing a reversed Philidor / Pearce. I don't want to give up my strong point. It's a lazy move, like d takes e4, and I'm trying to avoid doing that. But at the same time, I have to be careful that Dracofire doesn't get pressure against this. Now, we had the French guy earlier who was very good for his rating, who was the Philidor expert. The Dracofire, now that I think about it, is playing every single game b4 usually. But he's switched up. That's weird. This is like his backup. I could play a5. I can also, well, it seems passive to retreat my bishop back to f8 unprovoked. So we'll play a5. Reverse opening. He's just playing a Pearce. Double fianchetto. They just finished a Dota game and wanted to see some chess, huh? I mean, if you're fairly high rated, there's a good chance you get onto lichess TV at some point. But if your rating isn't that high, I'm not sure. Occasionally I've been playing and, oh yeah, like there's 100 people watching the lichess TV. I got on there. Alright. I'm playing h6. This could actually be similar to the other game where Black played the lion's jaw or whatever the heck it's called and tries to do like king h2, knight f. It's different though. I mean, he's just playing h3. He's just taking control prophylactically of g4. At some point, White can give up the center and try to put pressure on my e5 pawn. That's why I proactively played like rook e8. I also can play bishop e6 at some point. I played the classical Pearce with White, but of course my bishop wouldn't be on c5. It would be back on e7 and maybe tuck it back on f8. I also played the fianchetto Pearce, but I would need to put my bishop on g7 to transition to that kind of line. Okay, guys, I think we have time for one more 5-minute game. Chupa's challenged me to rated. That's not good. I might take this challenge from Thrace if I have time. Play one more game. Maybe I'm getting blinded out by the sun. No sparkles. That's good. I've actually managed to blot out the sun. Okay, huge sun coming in my skylight. When it's a house, it's a skylight. When it's a car, it's a sunroof. Why can't houses have sunroofs? Queen e2. Just random thought of the day. Queen e2 opposite my rook on e8. Okay, that's good though. I like that. So I just continue with... We continue as planned. If he takes on d5, I guess I'll take with the bishop. I guess we have to consider both, actually. Is he going to snipe my pawn on e5 with his queen on the file like that? D takes e, bishop takes d5, knight e4 seems okay for White. Whereas d takes e, knight takes e5. Knight takes e5, queen takes e5. Where's our tactics when we need them? He could dare to take that pawn. Knight takes d5, knight takes e5, knight d4, queen d1. And then I don't know what to do. Bishop takes h3 with some craziness ensuing, but I'm down a pawn temporarily. What's going on there? I don't know. Alright, I'm going to play this safe. I don't really know which way to recapture, but now we have a little problem. He does have very good outpost square on e4 for his knight. It's kind of like a Benoni. I'm definitely playing bishop e7. This sort of Benoni idea that I've used. He has problems with the d4 square. So as much as he'd like to move the knight on f3, it's dangerous for him to let my knight come into d4. On the other hand, I don't really have a forward plan here. Really, not really is kind of an exaggeration. Now he sacrificed, we'll say sacrificed a pawn. Interesting, but right, like unconvincing. He's got some Serbian Santa Claus, Queen C4 type of ideas. But I'm still not convinced. All right. Unconvinced if this is a sound pawn sacrifice. Bishop takes e4, bishop takes h6, bishop takes f3, takes on h6. I mean, it does seem like he's a piece down. Nothing to think about here. Dracofire has to move instantly. Don't think on automatic recaptures. He may have got disconnected or something. I can't imagine thinking in that position. Why would think there? There's also rook d1, but I'm just coming to c8 and getting off the... I could also even play bishop d6 and just... No, this move is dropping a piece as far as I can see. Maybe he just forgot I've got this recapture. I don't see anything for white now. I think he's just lost. There may have been a better way to do that. Now knight f3 check. Knight f3 check's pretty strong. Alright. But he just panicked. You know, we get this a lot, that people don't have enough time, and then if it's not me panicking, it's them panicking. But I think that here his position is pretty legitimate. You can't ask too much playing the reverse Pierce Philidor, but I think that this position is only like an itty bit better for black, and he just kind of panicked with this bishop e3 dropping a pawn. Even so, maybe I was thinking bishop takes h6 here. Apparently it doesn't work. Alright, so he just hung a pawn basically. Alright guys, last game for today. I'm going to play Thrace 5+3. Thrace, do you have 100 games? Not like a totally new account. Cool. Alright guys, last game. I'm back tomorrow night with the viewer tournament 5+2. Last game for today. Alright, quick 5-3. One day you'll get me. Well. Alright man, thank you for the game. Another Philidor. Every game is a Philidor. It's the day of the Philidor. Okay, you can take back either way here. Now let's do queen takes d4. I was talking about this position with one of my students. It's a very interesting thing. Stockfish says that knight f6 is just 0.1 more accurate than playing knight c6 in this position. But this is a point that Grandmaster Mihai Suba mentions in one of his book Dynamic Chess Strategy. He does it with white and in English. He doesn't chase the black queen on d5 right away. It's probably splitting hairs, but this automatically attacking the queen is not always the best move. Anyway, that's my last lecture for today. We're transposing to a Steinitz Roy Lopez. I guess white has other moves though, you know, instead of taking on c6. There's also b takes c, kind of a risky continuation. I can't play any more games, guys. I've got to go. So I'm afraid that is the problem. I could try to avoid the trade, excuse me. I could try avoiding the trade of queens. That's what I'm stuttering about. But it's a fast game, no time. Let's just do it. Play a slightly better endgame. if he wants to trade queens. The Philidors are on sale. Alright, now I'm even more tempted to avoid the exchange of queens. Stockfish's favorite move, like queen c4. There's also knight d5 with a small advantage for white. He could try something like queen g6. I could play e5 here. Takes with a knight. Then rook d8 looks a bit dangerous though. Developing the pieces would seem most principled. White's advantage is only very, very small though. This is a little bit minimalistic, the way that I'm playing this. A little too minimalistic, but it's the last game. I gotta get going. Whatever happens, happens. H6 is kind of slow. Now it's even more tempting. But again, e5 takes, knight takes, rook d8. Seems like a problem. I even briefly thought about sacking my queen. That seems a bit over the top. a4. Gaining some space. Maybe I've got knight b5 ideas. Alright, now you have to be going too far. I think you're going too far. I have knight d5. Is this the best move for me? I don't know. Okay, do I take with the queen or do I take with the pawn? The plan was to take with the queen and try to exploit my development advantage. Yeah, I think that's right. Now we have a little threat. At least I'm a little sharper tactically than I was. But Black is violating principles here. He's not developing, he's not connecting his rooks, he's not taking care of his king position. Other than that, everything's fine. This gives us a double threat though. So, I think that Black is in trouble. He loses b7. And his rook has to make an awkward move. There's no saving this. Okay, I have knight d4, queen takes e4, knight takes c6. If nothing else, guys, I should encourage you to calculate. It's not enough to just guess. You really need to force yourself to calculate as much as you can when you play. Intuition, okay, with very strong players, insanely strong players can be enough. You know, like Mikhail Tal could get away with playing only on intuition. But I recommend that you try to force yourself to calculate as much as possible. We'll see you later, Santa Claus. Thanks everyone for watching and playing. We're out of here in like 5 minutes after this game is done. Right, so knight takes c6 and I'm basically trapping his rook. The black king's trapped in the center of the board. I have bishop d4 type of tactics. And then here, well, this was basically the end of my calculation. I was looking at queen c8 and queen a8 and decided I'm at least equal. There's no knockout here, unfortunately, but we have a very, very strong attack. Check. Now I have bishop b6, which is kind of a cute move. Is it too cute? Like I'm almost letting him. was letting him get away with something. He has 97 here, which I missed. Oh my gosh. I can take on e7. I almost started to totally panic. Like 97 is a very disruptive move, but it's okay. I can just take it. Well, I mean, I guess he's lost. I mean, rook e1. Queen b7, he's going to lose a rook to a discovery. He loses at least the exchange. Maybe there's some sort of better line. But black broke too many fundamental rules as far as leaving his king in the center, not developing in this game. There is no uptime. There is only downtime until tomorrow night. Rook takes. What do we do next? He's threatening the castle. Okay, materially he's only down a queen for rook and bishop. Queen and pawn for rook and bishop. It's too much. I'd love to trap his king in the center, but can't do it. Now I'm threatening to win a second pawn. But I mean, material again is not that important. I want to create problems for him, like in terms of coordination, if I can. I don't see a good threat though. There's also back rank for me to have to worry about. King g7, he's still alive, but he's losing. I mean, it's just a matter of time till I win, basically. So just make sure that there's no back rank made, and we should be able to win the game. But in a blitz game, he shouldn't give up. I agree. He resigned. You can fight out. You can fight it out for a while here. Pretty big advantage, obviously. But, you know, okay, if it was like non-increment blitz, I would probably continue. Anyway, we had Bit Donation Soltigo with 5 today. He's the weekly leader. I want to thank you guys for subscribing, for watching, and for playing. I will be back tomorrow night with 5+2 viewer tournament. I am going to get out of here and do some work. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks Soltigo for moderating. Bye bye.